and welcome to lesson number 4 in drum Set Your Way to Success. In this video, we're finally going to start playing some beats, all right? This video is going to cover your very standard rock beats, and this is the best place to start when you're trying to actually incorporate all your limbs together, okay? Now, just to review, when we play the drum set, and for most of these patterns, we're going to be using the hi-hat, the snare drum, and the bass drum. The hi-hat is going to be played closed, so our foot's going to stay down, our left foot's going to stay down for the majority of these, and we're going to use our right hand to play on the top of the hi-hat. Our left hand is going to be used to play the snare drum, and then our right foot is going to be used to play the bass drum. So let's go ahead and get started with some basic rock beats. All right, now before we start, make sure that you've looked at the drum exercises on the drum exercises page of this website. This video is going to go over the page called Basic Rock Beats, okay? So make sure you've got your right foot on your bass pedal. Now in rock style, we do want a stronger bass drum, so most people would recommend doing heel up for the bass drum. If you're just starting out, if it's more comfortable to keep your heel down, that's fine too. Really the difference is going to be in volume. You want your left foot on your hi-hat pedal. And again, for the majority of these, our hi-hat's going to stay closed the whole time. So keep your left foot down. Our right hand is going to be playing right here on the hi-hat, not all the way on the edge, a little bit in. And then we're going to use our left hand underneath our right hand to play the snare drum. So we've got hi-hat, snare drum, bass drum. Those are the main drums we're going to use for our rock beats. All right, here is our first standard rock beat, beat letter A. All right, so let's talk about what's happening here. I'm hitting my bass drum on beats 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The snare drum is responding to that on beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My right hand is going to keep a consistent 8th note tempo the whole time that's going on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So some people prefer to start with that straight beat and then add in the bass drum and snare drum. If that's too complicated, go ahead and just start with the bass and the snare drum. And once you have that beat, go ahead and add in the 8th notes on the hi-hat. And there you have it. You can play pretty much any rock song with that standard beat. But let's change it up and make it a little more interesting. That's going to be our bass. Let's look at letter B, or variation number 1. It's pretty much the same beat we just did, except now I'm going to add an extra hit on the snare. So instead of playing 2 and 4, I'm going to play 2 and then 4. So here is what variation number 1 sounds like. And keep repeating that until you feel comfortable. All right, let's switch it up again though and make it a little more interesting. I'm going to take variation number 2. Now we're looking at variation number 3, or letter C. Same beat I just did with an extra 8th note on the snare drum, but now I'm going to add a syncopated 8th note beat in my bass drum. So now every other measure I'm going to also be playing on the and of 2 in my bass drum, and this is what variation number 2 sounds like. Notice how we're keeping that same standard beat. We're just adding in some extra 8th note hits now to add some variety. All right, now let's look at variation number 3. I'm gonna go back to that standard rock beat, but now I'm gonna be adding in 2 8th notes on beat 3 in the bass drum. Here's what variation number 3 sounds like. All right, now let's change it up again. And instead of playing on 1 and 3 in the bass drum, I'm gonna play on 1 and then the and of 3, sort of adding a pickup in my bass drum into the snare drum. So here's what variation number 4 sounds like. And keep repeating these until you feel comfortable playing the whole thing. All right, now let's look at variation number 5, or letter F. I like to call this the We Will Rock You beat that I'm sure most of us are used to hearing. We've got the going on, We Will Rock You, just adding that hi-hat back in. So here's what variation number 5 sounds like. All right, so last but not least, we have variation number 6, or letter G, on your exercise. This is what I like to call the disco beat, or the dance beat. We're gonna keep the same basic pattern of the bass drum on 1 and 3 and the snare drum on 2 and 4. We're still gonna be playing 8th note patterns on the hi-hat, but we're actually gonna take out the hi-hat on beats 1 and 3. So we're gonna get an and sort of feel on the hi-hat, which gives us that disco or dance groove. So here is what variation number 6 sounds like. So there you have it. Those are your basic rock beat patterns. Remember, a basic rock pattern has the bass drum on 1 and 3, the snare drum on 2 and 4, and then the 8th notes continuing in the hi-hat. You can take many different variations of that to create your own different unique patterns to match the style of whatever song you're playing to. In a later video, we're going to talk about some easy drum fills that you can incorporate into that rock beat to continue to add even more creativity into your rock playing sounds. I hope you had fun with this video, and I will see you in video lesson number 5.